Okay, class. For 11 burning candle, we are going to use some images that are in this folder. There's a bunch of examples too, so if you feel free, have some time, go ahead and take a look at those images. See what people have done and what I've done in the past to help you complete this assignment. Burning candle. Let's start off by opening up, opening up the drive, but yet find the 150 burning candle, and what I want you to do is drag it to the desktop over to here. That way, when you need to go back into the server and open something up, you don't have to wait for the network. You can just simply get it off the desktop real fast. Also, there's a folder over here in the Computer Art A folder called Images for Computer Art. Now, I'm not going to open this up for you because it'll take a long time, but I've already done that, and I've grabbed an image and I placed it on the desktop. So I want you to do the same. Find an image from this folder, drag it to your desktop so you don't have to wait for the network, and let them sit there, because we're going to use these two images for this tutorial, for this assignment. Okay. Open up Photoshop. Let's begin. For this tutorial, we are going to use quite a number of tools, but specifically the Smudge tool is here, the eyedropper tool. We're going to talk about the color pickers, okay, and we're going to possibly use the eraser and a little bit of the brush, and of course selection tools, because you can't do Photoshop without selection tools. So let's go to File, Open, and open up our 150 candle burning image from the desktop. And here it is. It's going to open up very small. And notice, always get in the habit of extending your workspace with this corner scroll option here. Okay, so scroll it out way out here so that you don't have to worry about what's in the background. And I have a nice workspace to use, and you know, nothing else is getting in your way visually. So we need to zoom in on this image. Remember, the quick command for that is spacebar command, or spacebar apple. You can click on it. So hold down the spacebar and then command or apple with the left hand, and then click with your right hand on the mouse. That'll zoom in. To zoom out, spacebar option, and then click with your right hand on the mouse. That'll zoom out. Or you can also type in a value, percentage, right here in the corner, and that'll get you also what you need. We're at 300 right now. But notice, it's very pixelated. We have to clean this up. But first, let's check the image size. Go to Image, Image Size. Very bizarre settings. Let's change this resolution to 72. Notice the pixel dimensions are at 631.8 megs, way too large. That is going to create problems for us, so let's take down the document size width. Try not to ever take down the pixel dimensions here. Always mess with your document size when you want to scale down your image. Okay, let's type in 5. That'll set the height to 9.46, and we might monkey around with that a little bit later under canvas size, okay? But that's a different thing. So let's go to OK. Click OK. Zoom out. Zoom in. Okay, we're going to clean this up a bit because it's pretty pixelated still. So here's where we grab our Smudge tool. Our Smudge tool is also located underneath the blur and the sharpen tool in the same area as the gradient. Okay, so if you can't find it, it's over here somewhere. You can also click R, and that'll get you to where you need on the keyboard, okay, for the Smudge tool. Notice the Smudge tool has some settings. We have some brush settings, some mode, strength, and other settings. So I have my brush set up at 21 pixels, hardness is at 0, normal mode at 10% strength, and that'll give us a very kind of loose, very gentle brush. And what we want to do is just clean it up. Clean up the pixels, because you notice the pixels are kind of ugly, not very smooth. So we're just going to smooth out these pixels, no problem. Take some time, make it nice. There we go. When using the smudge, you can click and like stroke like you're actually using a paintbrush or something, or a pencil to make marks, or you can just hold down the cursor also on the mouse, and that will also apply the smudge option for you. Okay, let's hold down the space bar. You get your hand, and if you zoom in a lot, if you hold down the space bar and get your hand, then you can scroll and click with the mouse and just scroll down. That's one way you can do that as well, instead of having to deal with the slider bars over on the side and bottom. Clean that up at the top. Space bar, click with the mouse, scroll back down. Alright, we're ready to go. Let's zoom back out. Space bar option with the left hand, click with the mouse. Now just for fun, I want to show you an option on how to increase the canvas size. So if we go to Image, Canvas Size, we have some options here on our anchor arrows, and that'll determine how we want to increase our canvas size. This is what we call the canvas, our working space. We can increase the canvas to the left, we can increase the canvas to the right, we can increase the canvas up and to the side, well, and also down. If we click on the middle tool, the middle arrow, we can increase the canvas all the way around, depending on how you set your width and your height. We're just gonna make the height 11 and click on this bottom anchor to just increase the height of the workspace. Click OK. Okay. Notice what happened was it added the background color to our canvas, which is right here. These are the background colors we have selected. I'm going to click on the default button of the canvas, and notice what happened with the color picker. The default changed to black in the foreground and white in the background. We'll adjust that in a little bit. Right now we have this yellow space that we do not like, we do not want. So we need to make sure that we have a black background or a black foreground. Okay. Actually, we do want the black foreground, excuse me. So with the paint bucket, that's an easy tool to use. Paint bucket is located underneath the gradient tool. You can also hit G on your keyboard. That'll bring up the paint bucket. And simply all you have to do is with the paint bucket, with the foreground selected, click, or with foreground black selected, click in the yellow space and it'll make it black, no problem. Alright. Next step. Let's import our next image. So we're going to go to File, Open, and I've previously placed my image on the desktop, so there it is, real nice and quick and handy for us to open. Alright, and it's just a sculpture of a, looks like a Cambodian Bodhisattva bust here. Okay, so we need to do some selecting. Okay, so with the selection tool, the quick selection, we need to just select the head because we want to move that over to the workspace. So if use the quick selection tool and select your background. Now this will only really work with clean backgrounds. You'll notice I'll run into some problems here when I go around the ear. See, there it goes. I'll fix it in a little bit. But try to grab an image with a very non-detailed background, a very one color background, or something that doesn't have a lot of detail in it. I can go back to and up to my negative here. Notice that the quick selection has some options, the brush and refine edge option. We're just going to click on this negative one, okay, and just take that back out on the ear. You may also want to use the magnetic lasso tool if that is a better tool for you to go around your object. You may have a different image than I have here. Okay. So notice I have the background selected. I can go ahead and hit the delete button or backspace button on my keyboard and it goes away. Okay. Now, what I can also do is go to the select option and click inverse or shift Apple I. Or shift Apple I, that'll also do it. Now I have my head selected. It's going to inverse or make the marching ants go the opposite way. Okay, now I have the selection or the marching ants around my head and not the background. Okay, so I can cut this, edit cut, or Apple X, let's go back to this other workspace and paste it in. Edit, paste, or Apple V. And there we go. Okay. We need to now resize this image. Apple T is the quick command for scale transform, or we can go to scale, transform, scale that way. Okay? Hold down the shift key to constrain the proportions of the image. I want to get it so that I can see it within the flame, but not completely blocking the flame. I think that looks okay. That'll be fine. Right, like that. Okay, double click when you think you have it selected in the way you want it. What we're going to do is now apply some color layers over this image to kind of make it look like it's blending in with the flame, because right now it does not. Okay, so what we're going to do is the layer options. The new layer, you can do a couple different ways. Down here by the trash bucket, there is a new layer option. Okay, it creates a new layer. Or you can also go to layer, new, and then layer. Okay, or shift Apple N, and that'll also give you a new layer. Okay, so I need to make one more layer, so a total of 3. Let's name this head. We'll name this one Flame Fill, and we'll name this one Glowing Haze. There, we're setting up our layers, ready to work. We need to fill this flame fill with the color of the flame, so what we're going to do next is select the head. We do that by holding down the Option or Apple key over the thumbnail picture within the layers. You'll see how the cursor changes once we hold down the Apple. Okay, click once. You'll notice now we have a selection around our image. I need to make sure the flame fill layer is selected, or blue, and now I'm going to select the color I want. We can go to Edit, Fill, and I can use this cursor is like a bullseye. I'm going to select the kind of a white color, or you can also choose colors from the fill options. Notice how it changes within the fill options. So I'm going to choose a white color. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe a little bit lighter tone. Just kind of, that looks good there. Click OK. Alright. And I'm just going to fill it. Click OK with the color that I chose. Click OK. And there we have our fill color. We kind of want to match it with the background image that we're already using to make it look real. Now, the glowing haze layer. Let's do this again. Click on the glowing haze layer this time. We still have our selection made, but this time we're going to modify the selection. We're going to go to Select, Modify, Expand it. Let's expand it by 2 pixels this time. Type in 2, click OK. Notice it'll slightly expand the selection around it. It's going to give it a little bit more size to it. Let's go back to Fill, Edit Fill. We're going to choose a different color. With our color picker in hand on the cursor, I'm going to choose this kind of orange, or sorry, yellow color. Click OK. And I'm now going to click OK here because this is the color that I chose. It's going to show up there. Alright. Deselect is Apple D. Apple D or select, deselect. Deselect your selection. And now I'm going to make a blur to this glowing haze because we want it to look glowing. So the next step is to go to Filter, Blur, Gaussian Blur. And this will come up with an option, a radius slider bar. I'm going to increase the radius here to make it look somewhat like the way I want it. Click OK, and you're set. Okay. Looks like I'm almost out of time. I have about 1 more minute. Second half of this tutorial will be coming up. Good luck.